Hi, and welcome to another video for Friday the 13th, the game. Today I will be explaining some useful tips and showing you some of the best hiding spots within the game. Some of these locations will pertain to all settings, while others will be map specific. The aim of the video is to help you better survive the match, or at least buy you some extra time before making your way to the police. Do keep in mind that a good Jason will be aware of most of these spots, so don't rely on any of these to see you out for the whole 20 minutes. Okay, let's try out some of these tips and show actual in-game examples on how they can help you to survive. We'll start this tutorial with a few examples that pertain to all of the maps within the game. These can be found within various cabins scattered about the playing field and are generic in their design. My first tip is quite simply room preparation. There are times when you've missed your opportunity to get away in a vehicle, Jason is busy with a fellow counselor, and you're biding your time until the cops arrive, or you're patiently awaiting the impending notification of the 2-minute warning. Jason will be coming for you next, and you know you will be doing a fair bit of running and window hopping. So what do? First, pick a cabin among a small collection of alike cabins. Don't go to that one that's all on its own out in the middle of nowhere. Also, choose one with 2 doors and plenty of windows. Locking yourself in a single-door cabin is not a good idea, and is kind of like painting yourself into a corner. Jason will block all exits, and your only way out will be to meet him head-on. By choosing the cabin with 2 exits, Jason will have to destroy the doors, walk through the traps, and break all the windows, by which time you'll have escaped to the next adjacent cabin and force him to do it all over again. If you have the time, set the traps in front of the doors. By doing this, Jason will have no choice but to walk into them. A trap set inside the door can often be avoided by walking around it or shifting over it. The trap will also act like an alarm, alerting you to Jason's presence even when he's in stalk mode. Another good tip for room preparation is to place extra items such as weapons, firecrackers, and medi-sprays on the floor of a room you are likely to come back to. It's best to have something else at hand after you've used that pocket knife or shot off that single round in the gun you were holding. Equipping yourself with the Medi perk is also a good idea. That way you get 2 uses from each Medi spray, effectively allowing you to carry more items in your inventory. Preparation doesn't just apply to cabins. A good Jason will place traps in front of the phone fuse box and ahead of vehicles to discourage you from making repairs. By placing items ahead of the vehicle, for instance, you can ensure that you will have a weapon and keep your pocket knife by using up a Medi spray instead. Okay, this one is a bit of a controversial one, but sometimes you have to be a bit of a Chad in order to survive. If a player is running towards your cabin with Jason in hot pursuit, get under a bed or into a cabinet. Jason is often hell-bent on killing that counselor, and is also under the impression that the only potential victim in the cabin is the one he's chasing. By slipping out of sight, Jason will concentrate on your intrusive associate. Should your colleague manage to escape, he will lead Jason elsewhere. Should he die, Jason will often morph away to somewhere else on the map, leaving you to make a quiet exit from a once intense scene. The cupboard at the end of the long table is a great spot. Crouch down and Jason won't see you. Yes, he knows you're in the cabin, but he'll waste time looking elsewhere first, such as the bathroom, or destroying beds and wardrobes. If he does come to you, you can catch him by surprise and shoot him or run to the other side of the table. Lots of players don't even know of this spot, and it works even better if the cabin is shrouded in darkness. Risky but effective is the hide behind the door trick. In the two-door cabin without a bathroom and with a partitioned room, if Jason is smashing through the front door, go to the back, open the door, and get behind it. Jason will think that you simply slipped out of the door and ran to somewhere else. If he uses his sense, he will think you are hiding under one of the multitude of beds while he is smashing through the other door. He will then waste his time breaking each and every one of the beds. The next one applies to all maps except Crystal Lake, and requires at least one Medi-spray. Whether it be in one of the multi-rooms of Paca Knack Lodge, or that lone window in Pinehurst, standing by a window on the second floor is a good way to waste time when Jason is searching for you. Jason will often look all around the ground floor first before moving upstairs. Lock yourself into a room, and he'll have to break down the door too. Jump out the window, spray yourself, and run to the next temporary safe haven. Now we move on to map specific, starting with Crystal Lake. Of all the maps, Crystal Lake has the least hiding spots to exploit. That being said, it does have two places where you can mess with Jason and waste his time. It is best only to use these when desperate, or when down to the final 2 minutes of the match. The archery range doesn't offer much cover, but it can be a massive headache to a pursuing Jason. Like you, he can't just simply step onto the raised platform. He can only access it by way of the stairs. Keep out of his reach, and he can't grab you, and there is plenty of length to dodge the throwing knives he'll pitch at you. Position yourself at the far end from the steps, and you can simply step off when he comes to get you. Then use the platform in much the same way as the long table, running Jason around in circles. It's a great spot for regaining stamina, but keep in mind that a clever player with traps to spare will place one in front of the steps to stop you from using this tactic more than once. Occasionally, you'll find the phone to be at the garage where one of the cars is often stationed. This tip comes in handy when trying to escape after phoning the cops or trying to dupe Jason on the way to the police exit if located here. If Jason arrives after making the call, put yourself in the dead-end room. Normally, I wouldn't advise this, but the room has 2 windows. You can also see Jason coming, so you'll have plenty of time to slip through one of them. He'll have to run all the way round or morph to the other side to get you, by which time you'll have climbed through another window, if not back through the same one, and as there are 2 windows, he won't place a trap, should he have any left. To me, Paca Knack is the easiest map to survive or escape from. The cabins are all positioned closely together, making for excellent window hopping opportunities, and the lodge has some great hiding places. Upstairs, there is a balcony with access to an adjacent room via the window. Open the window, lock the door to the room, and crouch behind the wall by the door on the balcony. Jason will generally search all other rooms before this one, thus buying you lots of time. Secondly, if he breaks into the adjacent room, you can slip past him while out on the balcony. If he goes to the balcony first, you can surprise him, stun him, and then climb into the adjoining room. This is my least favorite method in Paca Knack, but it is effective. Just like hiding behind the door of a certain cabin is effective, so is hiding behind the door in the downstairs bathroom. If Jason looks into the bathroom from the open doorway, he won't see you. If he looks through the window, he won't because he can't see through the door. Like the balcony, it's a bit of a gutsy trick, but it does work. This one used to be my favorite. Upstairs in the room to the far right of the stairs, there is a one-drawer cabinet. Walk up beside it and crouch. Jason will enter the room and see nothing. The top of your head will still show, but he won't be looking for it. He'll smash through the wardrobe and then move on. You can kill quite a few minutes by using this spot. The only downside is, should he find you, you better have a pocket knife or you're dead. Jenny Myers is particularly good to use as she has the highest composure of all counselors. She thus doesn't cry out and give a clue as to her position. Just make sure you aren't carrying the rifle or you'll stick out like a sore thumb. This last one at Paca Knack may seem completely impractical, but by God is it good. The window in the kitchen isn't just good for escaping the lodge and running for safety, it's also good for using to hide behind the chimney. If Jason is in the house looking for you, he will smash up the place, look in every nook and cranny, and never find you. He can even go to the kitchen and won't see you through the window. As you are not actually in the house, your character won't give any clues as to your position by crying out either. Best of all, if Jason steps out of the house to use his sensibility, the whole lodge will turn red, making him believe that you're still in there. If he morphs away and comes back, he'll morph to the front of the house, and if by chance he spots you, you'll see him coming and have time to leg it. As exposed as this spot may seem, it is the best hiding spot in the game. In spite of its size, the main house at Higgins Haven has a plenitude of great tricks and hiding spots. The two downstairs are more of a trick and a tactic than a hiding spot. The middle room has a window and a lockable door. Better still, however, is the two-seater chair between them. If you lock the door and wait by the window when Jason eventually finds you, you can climb through the window and run to one of the cabins practically opposite. From there you can race back to the main house and employ the same tactic again, or use the others I'm about to detail. The behind-the-door tactic also works at Higgins Haven. Downstairs and to the right of the main entrance is a room with a bed, a wardrobe, and a desk with two drawers. Open the door to the room and get behind the door. It has the same effect as the bathroom at Paca Knack, but equally the same downside. Upstairs in the hammock room is a small changing partition. Crouch behind this and Jason will have a hard time finding you. It is a much more effective spot when shrouded in darkness. The final spot in Higgins Haven is another of my personal favorites, the bathroom. Light or dark, it doesn't matter. Unless Jason walks all the way into the bathroom, he'll never see you. Simply press yourself up against the wall between the two sets of shelves. The downside is, if you don't have a pocket knife and Jason finds you, you're dead. But it is worth the risk if you're the sole survivor without any other options available to you other than seeing out the time. The Jarvis house also has a couple of decent places to take refuge when striving to survive. The first such spot is in the basement. There isn't a whole lot down there, and there's only one exit, but it can play to your advantage. If Jason senses that someone is in the house, more often than not, Jason will confine his search to the upper levels of the Jarvis home. He won't bother checking out the basement until he has done a thorough search of the house. By crouching and hiding behind the fridge, Jason won't be able to see you either. Should he venture in to investigate, you can use the fridge and the obstructions before it in much the same manner as the long table. Be careful on leaving the basement, as Jason may have left a trap, and don't lock the door if you plan to hide there, as it is a sure sign that someone is in there. The best place to hide on the Jarvis map is in Tommy's room. You can use the room to window hop, hide behind the door like the cabin door trick, or crouch down behind the single drawer cabinet at the far end of the room. This one is particularly effective, especially if the room is consumed in darkness. Unlike previous locations detailed in this video, Pinehurst has very few map-specific hiding spots apart from those within cabins that can be found on any other map. It is, however, much darker within the cabins than on other maps, and plunging a cabin into darkness can be just as difficult for Jason to navigate through as it is for a counselor. One such location is the barn. The barn itself is huge and is a real headache for Jason to walk around. That being said, there are only a few windows to crawl through, and its size makes for a bad location if you're attempting to avoid Jason's sensibility. There is, however, a small dark room with a door to hide within. Treat it in much the same way as you would with the bed or the wardrobe. It's not a great place to hide, but it can keep Jason guessing for a short time. The best place to hide from Jason at Pinehurst is the center itself. In light, this can work as a quick duke point before racing back downstairs or hopping out the window. It has the advantage of not being the best known of hiding spots, and in the dark is practically impossible for Jason to find you. So there you have it. I hope you found this video to be both entertaining and informative. Let me know in the comments section if there's a spot that I didn't detail or cover. In the meantime, check out my channel for more Friday the 13th The Game content. Until then, take care and have a good day.